Welcome back to my channel, For Real. So today we're going to touch on a podcast that I heard today from a clip from Brendon Burchard. And he talked about we make ourselves sick. That's true. We make ourselves sick. So the old saying is you worry yourself to death, or you worry so much that you make yourself sick. You can actually feel those butterflies in your stomach. Like we're giving trigger messages to our brain, and it's sending signals to our body that something's wrong, that fight or flight feeling, and those instincts kick in. So worrying yourself sick is a common phrase that technically reflects the impact of excessive worrying or anxiety on your physical and mental health. And here's how it happens. So we get a stress response, okay? When you worry excessively, your body goes into a stress response. This triggers the release of those hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. When you talk about adrenaline, which prepare your body to deal with perceived threats. While this response is helpful in short bursts, chronic releasing of these hormones, the chronic worrying, keeps these hormones elevated, which can have a negative effect on your body over time. Immune system. Worrying affects our immune system. So prolonged stress can weaken your immune system. And you know what happens when your immune system gets weak? You can get sick. You're susceptible to all kinds of illnesses and germs. And your body cannot fight off pathogens. Number 3, digestive system. Anxiety and worry can affect how your digestive system works. It can lead to symptoms like stomach aches, nausea, diarrhea, or even constipation. Chronic stress may exacerbate conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. It can affect our heart, the cardiovascular health. So constant worrying can contribute to high blood pressure and heart problems. Stress hormones can cause your heart to beat faster, constrict blood vessels, including the strain on that cardiovascular system. We can have problems with sleep disturbances. How many of y'all roll over in your bed because you're worried about something? You're thinking too much about something that you have no control over. Have some faith. We're supposed to replace worry with faith. God says we have to have faith. When we know that we have no control, we have to leave it in the hands of the Lord. So there are some things that you just cannot change. So why worry about it? It affects our mental health in the ways where that anxiety disorder kicks in, panic disorder, depression. We have so many people that are taking anxiety medicines today. I'm an educator. I work in the educational system. We have a lot of kids that have been diagnosed with ADHD. It seems like it's quadrupled since the last 20 years. Everybody, a kid that can't sit still, he's impulsive, he needs medicine. Everybody's pumping everybody up with medicine, where versus teaching people strategies and methods on how to deal with issues that are going to arise. So it affects our mental health to the point to where we feel like we've lost control. I'm going to tell you, your mind will play tricks on you. This happened to me. I remember having to go take an exam, a 3-hour exam. This is when I became an educator, to pass my teacher exam. I'm going to tell you, those things are no joke. It's called the Praxis exam. And it's supposed to measure your content knowledge in the core curriculum areas: social studies, science, ELA, and math. So if you're elementary, you have to be a content expert in all of those areas. And if you're middle and high, you can take a test that's based on your concentrated area. So if you're going to be a science teacher, you focus on science. You're going to be a, language arts teacher, you have to pass the English exam. So I remember taking the test and literally looking at the clock because it's a time test. And I was sitting right up front, I'll never forget. And I felt like I was running out of time. So I began having this full-on panic attack. The only one I've ever had in my whole life. And I never knew where it came from. I didn't know if it was something that I just thought up these, conjured up these thoughts in my head that I was going to fail, I wasn't going to do well. But I had a full-on attack. It's the worst feeling in the world. I felt like I was in a tunnel. I broke out in these sweats. My heart was racing. I felt like I didn't know where I was. I was looking around to see if people thought that I was, looking crazy. I literally thought I was going to pass out. And then I had to start taking deep breaths and saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But I literally lost it. And it's the worst feeling in the world. So I can see how that can affect your mental health. You do not want to ever feel like that. Behavioral factors. People who worry excessively may engage in unhealthy coping mechanisms such as overeating, substance abuse, or withdrawing from social activities, which can further impact their physical health. So I can't say that I eat the best, but I am conscious about what I eat. I know if I'm eating too much fast food, I need to pull it back a bit, need to do some more home cooking, chug down a couple of salads for the next couple of days. But I do notice that when I'm more in a mode of too busy, where I can't take care of myself, and I feel like I'm a little more stressed than normal, that I just eat whatever's in sight. I just eat to soothe myself, which it's really a false sense of security because I'm not planning out my meals and I'm not really putting in my body what's best for me. So be careful. Once again, your mind can play tricks on you. So there are a couple of coping strategies that we need to work on. So focus on mindfulness, relaxation, deep breathing, meditation works. Physical activity helps. Regular exercise boosts your mind and it reduces stress hormones. And of course, it improves your overall health. Healthy lifestyle, eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, limiting caffeine and alcohol will help cope with stress. And last but not least, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, there is support out there. Talk to a trusted friend, a family member. And if it's to the point where you feel like you're worrying and it's out of control, there's also professional help as well. I'm not going to promote any professional health services or any therapist that I can recommend, but get online, Google, all kinds of resources out there. So last but not least, by understanding how worry affects you physically and taking those proactive steps to manage your stress, you can reduce the risk of worrying and the impact that it has on your health. So remember, I'm not a cognitive therapist. I'm not an expert in the area, but I do have a background degree in sociology. And I do know how your mind can play tricks on you. So make sure that you take care of yourself. And I'll see you for the next episode.